Hello guys, our topic for today will be animal production. Right, then under animal production we'll be having intensive and extensive farming, right? But I want us to start with the intensive farming, okay? So let's just get to it. So intensive farming, to make it more simple for you guys, I'm just gonna start by giving you examples of the intensive farming, okay? So one of the main examples is the battery system. You're gonna see this a lot in your agricultural lessons in your school, okay? So under battery system, you're gonna find words like layers and broilers, and I will explain those words, don't worry. So now let's look at the picture. In the picture you can see that we have chickens in a cage, but the chickens are divided, okay? So we have chickens that are laying eggs above, and then chickens that are not laying eggs above, and that is where these terms comes in. So we have layers. What are layers? Layers are chickens that lay eggs, you understand? And then we have broilers. Broilers are chickens that we raise specifically for meat production. We call those chickens broilers. So that is why in this picture we have layers and broilers. Simple as that. That is the battery system. These are the chickens that you're gonna find in a battery system, okay? Then now let's move. Then in cattle farming, you're gonna find what we call a feedlot cattle farming. So a feedlot is almost the same as caging the chickens, but we cannot cage cattle, okay? So that is why we construct a place for them. As you can see, this place, this is what we call a feedlot, okay? So we design a place for them to spend their days in, and then with this designed place, we're going to control what they eat, because we will be the ones providing them with feed, you understand? They are not going to be the ones that go out to the fields and then feed on grass and whatever. We'll be the one that we provide feed to them, mostly lucerne. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so that is a feedlot, and in a feedlot the animals are protected, you understand? So that is feedlot in simple terms, okay? Then now let's move. Then we also have a pig factory farming. Pig factory farming, already you've seen the word pig. Obviously it's for the pigs. As you can see in the picture, we have pigs caged, okay? The first advantage that you can see from this picture is that the pigs are protected, and then another thing is that the pig will be the ones providing feed to the pigs, okay? That is why they are so healthy. You can compare these pigs with pigs that are not raised in cages. You'll see a big difference. These ones are more healthier, they are not skinny, they're gonna produce quality meat, you understand? So these are the main three systems under intensive farming. You understand? Hopefully you understand it, okay? So now let's move to the factors to increase animal production. So we're gonna need to increase animal production once we have caged them, so that our broilers produce quality meat, and then also our cows produce quality milk, and then our pig produce quality meat, you understand? So that is where these factors come in. So number one, we have feeding. So with feeding, we're gonna have to give our animals a balanced nutrition, you understand? For example, for these cows, we're gonna have to give them lucerne that is required by their body to produce a specific product that we are looking for from the animal. For example, if we want the cows to produce milk that is quality, we're gonna use that method that we call nutritive ratio to figure out how much nutrition do we need to provide to the animal to produce that milk. And then if you do not understand nutritive ratio, there's another video which talks about it in this channel, so feel free to check it out. Then moving forward, Then now we move to the management, and then the management is just the management system that we have on our farm. Okay, so like overgrazing is just feeding our cows here too much feed, and then we're gonna end up in a financial crisis whereby we do not have enough money to buy more lucerne for our animals, you understand? So we have to feed them accordingly, so we have to feed them rightfully so that we can be able to rightfully manage our money, you understand? That is how management works. And then I wrote unfair labor here, unfair labor practices, because this is a huge farm for us, so we're gonna need labors in it. Okay, so then with our labor we do not have to unfairly treat them, you understand? So we have to treat them fairly. So that is why I wrote unfair labor practices. So we have to use fair labor practices. Okay, then another one is the environment. We have to make sure that the environment is safe, you understand? That is why I wrote safe shelter. And then I also wrote temperature. For temperature, let's just use this one, temperature and lighting. Let's just use these ones for the battery system. We're gonna need a regulated temperature for the broilers and the layers, because this egg requires a certain temperature to be produced and for them to be healthy, you understand? Yeah, so for lighting and temperature, we're gonna use them on the battery system. And also remember I said management, so as a manager you will have to make sure that you maintain the temperature and the lighting, and those things comes in costs, you understand? So you're gonna need to draw a budget on how you're gonna manage the lighting and temperature, you understand? Then another one is breeding. Then how does breeding work? Breeding works by, if there's a cow here that produces quality milk, then we're gonna have to breed that cow with a bull that produces quality meat, you understand? So that we can have a cow that produces only quality products, you understand? So we cannot take a cow that is sick and then let it breed with a we cannot take a bull that is sick and then breed it with a cow that produces quality products. Like, that is gonna be a disaster, you understand? That is how breeding works. Or if we see that, okay, this cow is sick, cannot produce quality milk, then we're gonna need to genetically modify it. That is why I wrote genetically modified animals, you understand? All right, then let's move. Then intensive farming have advantages and disadvantages, but I only gave you one each. So the advantage for the intensive system is that we are gonna produce quality produce from the animals, you understand? But then the disadvantage is that it is very expensive, you understand? Like, we're gonna need lighting for these chickens here, and that's gonna cost us because lighting needs electricity, as well as the temperature. I don't know what we'll be using, fans or air conditioning, but that is gonna come costly to us, you understand? Yes, so that is intensive system for you in simple terms. Then now let's move to extensive farming. Okay, so extensive farming, as you can see in this picture, is not like the other one here. These cattle here are kept in a feedlot, but these ones are, we just let them go to the mountains to graze for themselves. As you can see, the animals are in a very dry area, so already that is a bad thing, but this is how extensive farming works. So now, also in extensive farmings, there are ways of increasing animal production. Okay, so there are the factors to increase animal production as well. Okay, so and they are just the same as those ones, but slightly different in explaining them. Okay, so firstly, the feeding. These animals rely on natural nutrition, or let me just say natural vegetation. Okay, so this is gonna be cost effective for you because you're not using any of your money to in order to feed the animals, you understand. And then another one is the management system that is in place. So how you manage the animals, you must always check for their health, if they are okay, if they are still healthy. Also the risk of getting, risk of them being stolen. Another one is expenses. Expenses comes from let's say for example an animal here is sick, so you're gonna have to buy medicines for that animal to be healthy again. Okay, then another one, the third one, is the environment. In extensive farming, you choose the environment based on the availability of vegetation, you understand. So you don't choose the environment based on the same reasons as the as the as the intensive farming, like temperature or lighting. You're just gonna choose based on vegetation. If the animals are they gonna get feed wherever they are, you understand. Then another one is breeding. Okay, in extensive farming, you don't have that much of control on how the animals are breeding. The animals, they're just gonna breed anywhere they like. But then after breeding, the reason I wrote survival of the fittest is that only the strongest ones are gonna survive after breeding. Like if the what do you call that small cow? What do you call it? Like if the what do you call that that small, what do you call the baby cow? I'm just gonna call it the baby cow. Okay, so the baby, if the baby cow does not adapt to the environment, it is obviously gonna die. But if the baby cow adapts, it is gonna live. So that is why I said survival of the fittest. Okay, then now let's move, and then I'll give you the advantages and the disadvantages of extensive farming. The advantages is that they are just gonna produce the regular produce, regular milk, and the regular meat. Is not that quality one, you understand, as of intensive farming. But at least a meat is a meat, you understand. And then another advantage is that it is cost effective. Cost effective meaning that it is cheap. Like you don't spend that much on them. Okay, then the disadvantage is that they are in risk of health and robbery. They can be stolen, they can get sick, and then that is your risk. That is the disadvantage of extensive farming, right? So now that I have explained what is intensive and extensive farming, let's just look at this question paper right here. Is just we're just gonna be looking at question 3. Mostly you're gonna find questions of intensive farming and extensive farming. You're gonna find the questions of animal production in question 3, paper 1. Okay, so let's just look at this question 3, and then answer some of these questions. Okay, then 3.1.1, it says identify 2 visible actions that the cattle in the picture above take to reduce the effects of heat. So from what I can see here, one cow is inside the water, so that is how this cow is reducing the effects of heat. And then another one, it is in the what is this? Is this a shadow? It is in the shadow. Okay, yeah. So that is those are my answers. Then 3.1.2, it says indicate 2 reasons why shelter is important to farm animals. Okay, why they say why shelter is important to farm animals. Shelter is important because it reduces risk of being stolen. And then I can also say shelter gives I can't say shelter gives shelter to the animals, but I can say shelter keeps the animals away from the heat. Okay, so those are my answers for 3.1.2. Then 3.1.3, they say state 2 requirements of the vehicle that transport farm animals. Okay, we did not talk about this one, but let me just try. Okay, we did not talk about it. We're gonna talk about it in another topic. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna say space. And okay, because we did not learn about the requirements of vehicle transportation. Okay, so I'll just take the north. Okay, so I'll just take the X. So let's move. Okay, here I took X, and then I just gave one requirement, which is space, like a good shelter in the car. Okay, then let's move to 3.2. Now 3.2, the table below shows relative changes in the expected dry matter intake. We have talked about dry matter intake in another topic, remember? Then they say milk yield and water intake with increasing environmental temperature. Okay, so I can see this one. I'll read the question. They say identify the main farm product produced in the table above. Temperature, dry matter intake, milk yield, water intake. This is an intake. So the main farm product here is milk. I'm just gonna say milk here. Okay, then 3.2.2, they say describe the relationship between dry matter intake, milk yield, and water intake when the environmental temperature increases. So when the environmental temperature increases, that means when it goes down. Okay, when it increases, when it goes down, because here in this table, when it goes down, it increases. Okay, so they said the relationship between dry matter intake when it increases. Okay, so when it increases, what does dry matter intake do? It decreases. When the temperature increases, dry matter intake decreases. And then what about milk yield? Milk yield decreases as well. Then what about the water intake? The water intake looks like it increases. So they say describe the relationship. So describing this, I'm just gonna say as the temperature increases, the dry matter intake and the yield decreases, but the water intake increases. You understand? So that is how I am gonna explain it. Okay, we'll see in the memorandum how much I have scored. You understand? Then we have 3.3 here. It says the graph below shows the average live weight of farm animals for farmers A and B who use different production systems. Obviously that's gonna be intensive and extensive farming system. Okay, then they say here identify the farmer that represents each of the following. Number A, extensive production system. Okay, let's check here. They say live weight of farm animals over a period of time. This is the live weight, and then this is the age. As ages goes, I think an animal that is gonna gain weight faster is the one in intensive farm animal. So here farmer A, I'm gonna say is intensive farmer because the animal gains weight faster than farmer B, because farmer B gained the same weight because farmer B gained the same weight as as farmer A, what is it? Over 2 years later, while farmer A gained that weight in just 1.5 years. You understand? So the extensive production system will be farmer B, and then the intensive. Can I write that B here? Yes. Then here is gonna be A, intensive farming system. Then they say justify the answers to question 3.1 B and A. Okay, so in A, I'm just gonna say slow weight gaining, meaning less input is put to the animal. And then in B, I'm just gonna say fast weight gaining, because high input is put to animal in A. Okay. 3.3 says identify a disadvantage with regard to the input costs of the intensive production system. Oh, we talked about these things. So they say identify a disadvantage with regard to the input costs. The disadvantage is that it is expensive. You get it? So now let's move to 3.4. So the 3.4, it says the Department of Agriculture reported several foot and mouth disease (FMD) outbreaks in different areas of South Africa. This led to a ban on the export of animals and their products. Veterinarians were then deployed to the affected areas, and infected animals were separated from non-infected animals. Okay, so the question says identify the pathogen that causes the disease in the scenario above. Guys, so 3.4 talks about something that we did not talk about in our lesson today, so we'll just skip it. Okay, we'll talk about it in the lesson of diseases. Okay, so we're just gonna let's just check the memo and then check how did I do. So now let's just check the memo if I scored some marks here. So 3.1.1, two visible ways the cattle used to decrease heat. So what did I say? Standing under the trees. I did not say it that way, but it is the same one. I remember saying it is in the shade, or so shade for protection from the sky, from the sun. So that means I have scored 1 mark. And then another one, standing inside the water. I have said that one as well. Yeah. Then okay, let's move to 3.1.2. Two importance of sheltering animals. Okay, so they say increases young animals for survival rate. Did not say that one. Then protects animals from predators or theft. I remember seeing that one, to protect animals from theft. So I have scored 1 here. Enables control of diseases. I did not say that one. Provide until temperature. Provide. Okay, I said it provide protection against the sun. So this is the same. This is almost the same as what I said. So I have scored 1 mark here. Prevents hydration, maximize production. Did not say that, those ones. Okay, another one, 3.1.3 says 2 requirements for the vehicle transporting animals. Okay, so they say floors should not be slippery, adequate ventilation, rails must be high and strong, no sharp edge. Oh, why did I not think of this? No sharp edges that can harm or hurt animals. Vehicles should be clean, must be enough space. I talked about space, so I have scored 1 mark at least. So I almost got 1 mark here. Okay, so 3.2 is that one talking about this on this table here. So it says the effect. Okay, oh yeah, So the farm product, yes, I said it's milk, so I scored 1 mark as well here. Then 3.2.2, description of the relationship between dry matter intake, milk yield, and water intake. Okay, they say with increased environmental temperatures, dairy cows will eat less feed, less milk will be produced, and will drink more water. I don't know, guys. I remember saying as the temperature increases, there will be less dry matter intake as well as milk yield, but there will be high water intake. I remember seeing something like that, and I think that is correct. That is correct, because I said when the temperatures increases, okay, so I should be getting 1 mark for that. And then I did not say they will eat less, but I said dry matter intake will be decreased. Okay, so this is the same as that one, because here we have less weight, but I said decreased. And then another one is that they will drink more water, but I said water the water intake increases. So I still get a mark for that. Okay, then for 3.3, whereby it said 3.3 was, oh, this one, intensive and extensive, so I said B here and then A below. Let's see, B above. Okay, yeah, I said that one. Okay, identification of production system. Number A, farmer B, I did say farmer B, and then B, as I said farmer A. So this means I have scored 2 marks as well here. Then the justification, in A, they say it took the head longer to reach live weight of 500 and shorter growth. I think, guys, I have scored as well here, because I remember saying something like slow growth and then faster growth in A. Yeah, so this means I'm gonna score a mark, because they say slow growth rate here, so I'm scoring a mark, and then faster growth, so this means I'm scoring a mark as well here. And then the disadvantage in relation to input cost, I remember seeing it is expensive. Remember this one here, identify a disadvantage with regard to the inputs of intensive production system. I said it is expensive. And then look at this, guys. Look at this. Isn't this what you are looking for in your exam? Look for this. Okay, yeah, so this brings us to the end of our lesson for today. If you have enjoyed it, please just like this video, and then if you are new here, please just subscribe. Your subscription is much appreciated. And then if you have any specific topic that you'd like me to make a lesson about, just tell me. Okay,